well. All right, welcome. Thank you for joining today, everyone. My name is Danielle, and I'm very excited to be here and sharing about confidence with you. This was actually a webinar that I was asked to do after a training that I just was at with Bob. And I'm super excited because some of this I haven't actually shared before. I'm going to share with you more about my journey. And there's some pictures in this presentation that's really going to show you sort of what I've been through over the past while, past few years actually, and why confidence has such an impact on our results. It's massive. It really is everything. And what I've come to learn is that without a positive self-image and without confidence, you know, even on the outside, we may appear to be confident, but if it's not how we truly see ourselves on the inside, that's what matters. And I'm super passionate about this because of what I've been through. And this is now what I want to help people with. So what I've realized, and what I actually was recorded saying when I was with Bob Proctor, my mentor last week, is that confidence is created. Success is not an accident. Success is not created by accident. In fact, a stat that was shared, I want you to think about this stat. 92% of people never achieve their goals in life. 92% of people. That's huge, isn't it? I can see some of you nodding your heads, right? It's huge. This is why I wanted to create this webinar today. Because to me, it's important that the people that I know that are in our network they're not one of these stats. And I'm going to ask you to make some decisions tonight. I'm going to ask you to really think about your confidence. I'm going to also ask you to be really honest with yourself. And some of the decisions that you'll make, it may not be for everyone. It may not be your time to make the decision. But I'd like you to consider, if you really took this seriously, if you really implemented what I have to say today, how your life can change. And I'll share with you actually some of the people, I can see them on the call, some of the people that I'm working with now where this information has really changed their life. Now, what I want to say is, a few years ago, I can actually remember the day I quit my corporate job. And you should have been there with me. Like, I remember being in my car and I was in a place where I was not happy with what I was doing. My relationship was not in a great place. My relationship with my daughter was not in a great place. She hardly knew who I was. And if you would have been there with me in my car, I felt desperate. I felt like on the outside, it looked like I had everything. I don't know if you can relate. And if you would have been there with me in the car, I would have done anything. I was actually begging for some sort of solution. And I would have done anything to be able to jump at that moment. And I knew that I couldn't, or I thought I couldn't, because I didn't have enough confidence to go out on my own. And B, I didn't feel like I had the money or the resources to do what I wanted to do. At that time, I was introduced to network marketing. And for me, that was a brilliant stream of income, and still is a brilliant stream of income. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But what happened in that journey was that I was able to create a new image through that journey. And that was kind of the first step that I took to really change how I thought about myself. And if you were along the journey, I'm going to show you some pictures, but for those of you that know me or can relate to this, there was a certain amount of work that needed to be done at that point, because I did not see myself as a business owner at that point. I was in a corporate job and always working for someone else. Now, fast forward, I got into this information and I actually realize that we can decide who we want to be. And when I discovered that, you would have seen a light bulb go off. And it was from this place of being completely desperate to having this glimpse of hope because of network marketing. And my assumption was I'd go to the top, and I didn't. 2.5 years later, I was still questioning what was wrong with me. And from the outside, I look confident, and people would say, oh, you've got what it takes, you've got what it takes, but it wasn't happening. I don't know if you can relate, but something inside of me felt like I could do it, but I didn't believe in myself, if you really ask me. And when I found out about how the mind works in self-image, that's when everything changed. And I decided at that moment that if this was really true, if we could create our future and who we were becoming, that I was going to do that for myself. And that's really what I'm here to share about tonight. When I was on stage last week, I realized that this, even in amongst our community, this is not something that everyone understands. I'm a part of a community now of 1,000 coaches, and I'm in the top 10. And I say that not to impress you, but to impress upon you that you can come from that place where I was to like what you want to become. And I was on stage and I actually said, I wrote who I am now, and I created her. And I realized at that moment that this is something I needed to share. And that's why I invited you on the webinar. That's why the people on this call invited you here. Now, these are some photos from that moment when I was in my car, when you should have been with me, when I was desperate and asking for some change. My best friend in the left there, Jake, I noticed she's on the call. That's about that time. My little daughter is born in the bottom. And you can see some transformations here. You guys, if you were with me, if you would have been in my mind, I never really believed that I could do it. I would point to the other people, but yet it was like I was fighting with myself because something inside of me kept saying, Danielle, you deserve more, or you could do better. Do you guys see that? It's like this fight. Like inside, I knew I could do better. I should be doing better, yet I wasn't where I wanted to be. Now I'm going to share the journey, and I share these pictures because the version of me that you see that was photographed just last week in the middle with Bob, my mentor Bob Proctor here, this version of Danielle was one that I had to create. And you're going to need to create your version of him or her. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to actually achieve what you want to achieve in life because you've created the person that's going to achieve that? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to teach you today a few things. You have to commit, though, that you're ready. And over the next 50 minutes, I'm going to give you some really great tools to get there. It's going to be a wild ride, so stay with me, but I need you to commit, and I need you to commit. So type wherever, if you are watching on Facebook Live, type you're ready. If you're here on Zoom, type that you're ready. Type that you're ready and type where you're from. This is important. It's important that you decide. So over the next 50 minutes, an hour, I'm going to share You and I are going to discover a few things. I'm going to share a few things. I'm going to share where negative, low self-confidence comes from. Why most of us aren't where we want to be. And let me tell you, we might think we're confident on the outside. I'm also going to share so that you can discover how low self-esteem cripples your chance of success. Absolutely stops it. And I'm going to tell you, if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to share with you how to create a winner self-image. Exactly what I did, step by step. How does that sound? You guys in for this? Okay. So there will be time for some Q&As. I'm actually going to keep the lines open if this is resonating with you. Now, let me tell you, remember when I said some of you are going to have to make a decision tonight? You know, I'm not speaking to everyone. I'm not speaking to everyone in the group here. I'm talking to you. The person that's had enough. Like I was in the car, in the parking lot of my condo building in the distillery in Toronto, when I had had enough of the results I was getting. I'm speaking to that person who knows somewhere that they could be doing better. And they're not. The person that procrastinates or stops themselves, I'm talking to you because I know you were where I was, and that point where you've had enough is when you'll make a decision to do something different and to implement. Because some of the stuff I'm going to share with you tonight, you've probably actually heard before. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. But I need you to make a decision that you're ready for the change. Okay, so if you haven't said that you're ready, or if you haven't lifted your hand, I've seen a few people nod and lift their hand, do that now. See, what you're doing is you're declaring to your own mind that you have had enough, that you are ready, that you're willing to do what it takes. Okay, does that make sense? Good. So raise your hand, say I'm ready. And there's science behind why I'm asking you to do that, okay? There's science behind it because you're declaring that you're ready to hear this. Okay, so where does this information come from? I mentioned Bob Proctor. Some of you may know who he is, maybe not. He's from the movie The Secret. Really, it doesn't matter if you know him. This is my picture with him just last week. What's important to understand is that there's over 58 years of research through the Proctor Gallagher Institute where this comes from. What Bob Proctor studies is what makes some people successful and others, they don't reach their goals. And so this is science, you guys. This isn't physics, this isn't psychology, this is science. This comes down to physics. And this is here, him again with his business partner, Sandy. So let's talk about what your current self-image is. And I'm going to use that word, self-image. I'm going to use self-confidence. I'm talking about the same thing. How do you know where your confidence level is really, truly inside? Not what you're projecting to the outside world, but really inside how you feel about yourself. Well, your current self-image is going to show up in your results. Take a look at where your results are. Take a look at your relationships. I mentioned how I hardly had a relationship with my daughter, that I was constantly reacting, that I was never present. Think about you. What are your relationships like? Think about your income. Did you know your income is directly related to how you see yourself? Think about your business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're maybe in sales, your image is going to have a direct reflection on your results. And you can see what your confidence level is at by your results. I see a few people tagging others in here. I love that. Invite them, share the Zoom. Thanks, Heather, for that. If this is resonating, let's get this out here. Where does the low self-esteem come from? Where does the low confidence come from? Well, a lot of it comes from our programming. A lot of it comes from how we were raised. And I'm going to show you tonight on why it starts there and how our life situations, circumstances continue to anchor that programming into our mind. So really, we live out the way that we were programmed as kids to think about ourselves. It's fascinating. And again, this comes back to science, over 60 years on how the mind works. So your low confidence comes from your programming. And I want you to think about your program like a computer program or a cell phone program. You know, I've got this iPhone 10. I don't really know what that means, but let's say the 10 has a certain program on it. And I can, in a year or maybe even 6 months, knowing how things are created now, I can add all these fancy apps to it. And unless I update the programming, it is going to slow down. It is not going to perform as well as I want it to. Same thing with my computer. Our programming, we have a programming just like a computer or a phone. And that programming was given to us through our genetics as well as through our environment. Your programming was given to you the exact same way. The genetics one is obvious, right? Our mom and our dad. This is why we look the way we look. And a lot of our genetic programming affects what we do in life. Actually, the way we look, but also what the foods we like. And there's a lot of science that shows that this is affecting who you are today. Now, the other side of this, the programming that really makes a difference is your environmental programming. Your environmental programming is given you your program today. So your environmental programming as a baby, I'm going to show this next slide. I want you to see this picture I want you to see the baby's head. So this is your baby's head here. And from the ages of 0 to 7, you have everything that was around you going straight into your subconscious mind. So this is really interesting. So when I first heard this, I went, eek, as a mom. But I want you to think about this for yourself. What was going around you from between the ages of 0 and 7 years old? You speak the language you speak because it was programmed into you. Your beliefs about what it means to be a female or a male was programmed into you. And see the comments that were made around you by your parents, your caregivers, your teachers. All the comments that were around you with the most emotion and the most repetition are the strongest in your subconscious now. And they actually make up something called your paradigm, which I'm going to teach you about in a moment. Your self-confidence is built in this belief system. It is part of your paradigm. Whether or not you have confidence today has a lot to do with that upbringing. And that's where self-image is. And you can see that your self-image is part of this subconscious mind. Same with your income level, same with your relationships and your culture. These are all beliefs that were programmed into your mind between the ages of 0 and 7. Now, the reality is that you will never outperform your own self-image. So the image that was created for you between the ages of 0 and 7, you won't outperform it. I want you to really think about this, because this is how and why you're getting the results you're getting right now. This is why so many people have low self-esteem. Because if you think about society, if you think about how most people are in a lack mentality, that there's not enough. Can you guys relate to this? Or, you know, maybe it's something about money being the root of all evil. Or good girls don't talk about money. Or good girls aren't confident or outspoken. Whatever these beliefs are that were programmed into your mind between 0 and 7, it's in this subconscious mind, and it is getting you the results you're getting right now. And you won't outperform it. Now, what's interesting is that we figured out how the paradigm and the self-image and your confidence was created. So that's the work that Bob has been doing for the last 60 years. And because he's discovered how it was put in our minds, we now know what to do to change it. And in order for you to get better results, you need to change your self-image. And did you know that the calls that we get, the requests that I get for coaching are all about confidence? Confidence and fear are the two major things that people talk about. Can you relate to this? Now, wouldn't you agree that if you raised your confidence level, you'd get better results? Nod your head or give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Would you also agree that if you got rid of fear and therefore had more confidence, your results would go up? Yeah. What about, would you agree that if you started seeing prosperity and the good in yourself and other people, that life would become easier? And that you would too get better results? Yeah. That's why we're here. That's some of the things that we've noticed at the Institute too. Success doesn't happen by accident. Confidence doesn't happen by accident. I read this early on when I was a mom. And, well, I am a mom, but when I was about 2. And it was a little pink book that was called Raising Your Girls with Praise. And it was before I really understood this work. But I bring this to your attention again because when you are thinking back to this image of yourself as a baby and everything going into your mind between the ages of 0 and 7, I want you to think of this. Kids raised with praise grow up to have a higher level of confidence versus kids raised with criticism. Think about this in your own life and then how you're parenting for those that are parents. Now, I want to say this, that each one of us, for those that are parents, you can raise your hand, I was freaked out when I was learning this. And what I want to say is that as a parent, I just got a message that I'm not recording. Thank you, Shonda. I got too excited. Kids raised with praise. No, that's not what I was saying. What I realized in this information was that we each do our best with our own level of confidence, with our own paradigm, with our own self-image. And our parents did the same. See, you can't give what you don't have, which is why this information is so important to you tonight. For those that are parents, you can't give confidence if you don't have it. For those with a team, those with employees, you can't give it if you don't have it. I want you to think about this: kids raised with praise versus criticism. And this goes the same for your team and your colleagues as well. The more you praise, the more that you're seeing the good in them, and they will see the good in you, and you just generally see the good in life. See, we're actually raised to look for what's wrong. Most of us are. That's just what it meant to be human and to survive. Think about it like, I don't know, back in the cave ages when people were hunting for food, we had to look for what was wrong or dangerous, right? So that's where what we've been taught to do is to live by our outside physical senses and look for what's wrong. And because of that, most of us in society are living with a lack, half full, limited mindset. And it's wreaking havoc on our results. I've been throwing this word around quite a bit. Paradigms. I'll define it here. A paradigm is a multitude of habits that's fixed in your subconscious mind. And there's two parts of your mind. There's the conscious mind on top, which is your thinking mind, your educated mind. And then we've got your subconscious mind on the bottom. And the subconscious mind is your feeling mind. It is the mind where your self-image is. It's the mind that actually controls your body, whether or not you take action or not. Which makes a lot of sense if your self-image and your confidence paradigm is in the subconscious mind. Why most people are stopped because they don't feel confident enough to take action. Doesn't that make sense? So a paradigm is the multitude of habits that's in your subconscious mind, and includes your belief system, and it includes your self-image or your confidence. And what are habits? Well, habits are just an idea that's fixed in your subconscious mind. Now, what blows people away is actually this next statement. This is very important. You want to take a screenshot or write this down. Paradigms control your habitual behavior, and almost all your behavior is habitual. In fact, 96 to 98% of your behavior is habitual and controlled by your paradigm, which is controlled by your self-image. Your habitual behavior is controlled by that confidence in the subconscious mind. Therefore, that self-image paradigm has almost exclusive control over your results. This is huge. This is why I asked you to look at the results you're getting to see how confident or not you are. Is this resonating with you? And you see how our self-confidence is literally, you're going to see that it's sabotaging us. It's literally blocking your success. You will not outperform it. And this is why. I'm going to give you a tip here. Does anyone have that voice in their head? That little voice that limits them, that tells you that you're not good enough or you don't have enough money? Yeah, I can see some people nodding. Lita, yeah, Carrie, raise your hand. Give me thumbs up on Facebook. That voice in your head is your paradigm. It is your limiting belief. It is not true. And so how do you overcome it? How do you scream louder than the voice? I want you to recognize what the voice is and know that we all have them, and it's not true. But let's say that it's saying, I'm not good enough, or I'm too old to do da 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 da. Whatever it is, write it down for yourself, acknowledge it. You can do that now. And then I want you to create an equal and opposite statement. So if it's around the fact that you're not good enough, it could be something like, I have everything I need within to succeed. I am good enough. Or I am amazing. It could be something about, that you are, like I said, too old or too young. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be to create the results I want in my life now. These are equal, quote unquote, equal and opposite statements for me. According to my perception, you will create an equal and opposite statement that is in the present tense, positive language. So it doesn't say I am not, right? It actually is what you want to be. And what you'll do with this equal and opposite statement is repeat it over and over and over and over again. You're literally going to reprogram your mind just like it was when you were a baby. Just like your self-image was given to you between the ages of 0 and 7 through repetition, you're going to reprogram it again. And this time you're going to decide who you are becoming. This time you're going to decide the confidence that you have. And it may be incremental growth like mine was. It didn't change overnight. I'm sharing pictures and stories throughout this presentation because in our community, self-image has become such a big piece to the puzzle, to the success puzzle of each of us individually, that we should start taking before pictures and like 6 months later pictures because of the transformation that I'm seeing with the men and women in our group, because it's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Now, this is a picture of Jen, who is an actress, and she's 50. And I share this picture with you. If you're on Facebook, you can join us on Zoom too. I share this picture because she created the character that she wanted to be. She followed these same steps. And I want you to know that you have a choice. Remember that I asked you to make a decision, or I said some of you that will need to make a decision. Confidence is created. And if you don't learn to do this, you won't outperform where you are. That's by law. All of our research shows that. Now, what just came to mind, I hear people say, well, I know some people that have done this. Absolutely. There's unconscious competence out there. There's people that understand this material but don't understand what they're doing. What I want to show you is how to do this every single time. Every single time. Because if you were like me and you were sick and tired of getting the same results over and over and over, then you'll make the decision to do something about it. And if you do implement it, you'll become like Jen, who had auditions after 2 years of not getting audition in film. Within 3 weeks, she got one and landed the role. Things that become, well, people say it's magic, or others will say that person just got lucky. And what's interesting is that we know it's not luck or magic. There's no such thing. Is that Jen created the confidence she needed to get the results that she wanted. And that's what we do in this work. So stay on so that you can hear what life, or you can actually start to imagine what life's like for you when you actually do this, when you actually implement this. So now that you're aware of your self-image paradigm, what that is, it is your responsibility to change it. And I'm going to continue to ask you to change it, to commit to changing it. And when you commit, you're going to be nodding your head. And there's a reason for it, is because when you say yes, you'll stay open to the information I'm sharing with you now to make a big, massive difference for you tonight. The truth is that low confidence cripples your success. have you seen this in your own life where you've been stopped? Have you seen this? Where you knew what action to take, but you didn't take it? Let me know if you can relate, because I may not be talking to all of you, you know? For me, I knew what to do and wasn't doing it. In my network marketing business, I knew what I had to do to be successful and I wasn't doing it. And I had no idea that it was because of this. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was actually that I wasn't programmed to take the action I needed to take. That's the truth. And it's much more than that. See, what our mind does, what your mind is doing, is it's minimizing your past wins. Think about this. When we have a win in our life, when we do something amazing, even when we share it with our friends or family, don't we say it usually, but then like shrug it off? Oh, it's no big deal. Like, you know, there were like 5 other people that accomplished that. See, our mind minimizes our wins. So what happens is when they get stored in our memory, it's stored with less emotion. And therefore it's minimized. This is a big deal to understand. And what our mind also does is it exaggerates your failures. And I use the word failures. It could be embarrassing moment. It could be, you know, you exaggerate whether or not you said the right thing to the woman you were talking to, or did you introduce yourself right? Think about this. We question ourselves and our mind explodes it. It exaggerates it. And it tends to make a big deal through emotion. We worry, right? It makes a big deal out of our failures or our embarrassing moments, doesn't it? Yeah, I can see a lot of you relating. And so what this does is it plants then in our memory, our failures are stronger because our memory will recall things that have more emotion attached to them. And if we minimize our wins and exaggerate our failures and really worry, and let me tell you, worry is like praying for something you do not want. It is asking for it. That's what you're doing. And if our mind is minimizing our wins, when we go back, when we go to step out and do something that we haven't done before and we hit fear, and our subconscious mind's looking for evidence if we can do this, quote unquote, because it's there to protect us, to keep us safe. It's going to have a hard time finding those wins because we've minimized them. And instead, it's going to find reasons why you can't. And we tend to blow up those reasons and we think about, well, I can't do that. I can't. Or how can I? And if I can't see the how can I won't do it. And we hit fear. And when we hit fear, we let go of our goal and we settle. That's what happens. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. Now, what I've also noticed is someone who has done the work on themselves and created a positive self-image. The person that does that allows themselves to exaggerate their wins and minimize their failures. Through this work, we learn to do that. And I want you to make a promise to yourself that you will do that in your own life, for the people around you, for your children, for your team, for your colleagues. And see your failures as learning opportunities, growth. And they're not failures. They are just that. They're there to have us grow. And that's the whole purpose of a goal, is to have you grow into the person that you need to become, the better version of you. Another thing your mind does is plays the comparison game. It looks at how far you are or how far you're not compared to other people on the journey. Notice that? And when you play the comparison game, it gets dangerous. I want you to stay focused on what you want. I want you to decide who you want to become and not worry about any of those outside circumstances. What's interesting is that we are programmed. Remember that programming. Most of us are programmed. You are programmed to live through your outside senses, through your physical world. And that's why the comparison game happens, is we're programmed to live that way. And what happens is it affects all areas of our life. When our relationship is good, we feel good. When we have money in the bank, we make decisions to go on vacation. The problem is that if that's how we're making decisions, what we physically see, we'll never be making the decisions based on what we want and our future. It will always play the what if game or when game. I'll do that when. I'll do that when the kids go off to school. I'll do that when we get the money. And that doesn't work. It doesn't work. So today, we're going to look at a different way to do things. And again, you have to make the decision that you're ready by saying, I'm ready. I'm ready. Keep your mind open here and know that you are attracted to this information tonight for a reason. Okay? Acknowledge the person that invited you. Not everyone's here, and you are. Great. I'm going to teach you something about another way that your self-image, your confidence cripples your success. This Pygmalion effect is very interesting. So what this diagram talks about is that we have our beliefs about others. And this influences our actions about another person. And this action that we have around another person that you have actually impacts that person's belief about themselves, and it causes their action towards us, which reinforces our belief about the person. Now, it actually really reinforces a low self-esteem. So if you have a belief about how other people perceive you, it is going to influence how you act. So let's say you believe that you're shy, or you believe that other people think you're shy. Well, it's going to influence the way that you speak, the way that you introduce yourself. You see that? And because of that way of your introducing yourself, it's going to impact their belief of you and the way they treat you. And they may treat you as someone with low confidence, or like they may tiptoe around you. See this? Which is then going to impact or make it more real, their belief in you. Or sorry, their action towards you is going to then cement your belief that they have about you. This is very interesting. We've done a lot of tests around this at the Institute. And it starts with your belief about yourself and what you believe other people think about you. Now, I want you to think about that because that's a mouthful, isn't it? It starts with your inner belief about you and how you believe others perceive you. This is really important. And so it's a cycle. And where do we change the cycle? It comes from within. Now, I hear from quite a few people that I start to coach. They will play the blame game or the victim game. And hey, I know it because I was there. I was a very good victim with my husband. They play the victim card and they don't understand that it actually is their belief about them that has people treat them the way they're being treated. You are attracting the circumstances to you. You're attracting how other people treat you. This is huge. Really, really important to understand. Is this resonating with you? Can you see why? Now, what I'd like you to do is to take responsibility for how you see yourself. Decide today that you've had enough. Your self-image is a thermostat. What do I mean by that? Well, you have a setting. I'm going to get my assistant, Shelly, awesome Shelly, to give me a time check. I need a new system other than that. Your self-image is a thermostat. What do I mean by that? Well, you have a thermostat setting as to how much money you're making, your weight, how much sales you're doing in your business as a real estate agent. I see a few real estate agents on the line, in your network marketing business with your team. You have a thermostat setting for all of it. And it's set in your mind. And this thermostat, you cannot outperform it. And I want you to think about it like a thermostat in your house. Right now, ours is set for 22 degrees. When my daughter leaves the front door open on a cold winter day, the heat kicks in and brings it back to 22 degrees. Same thing in the summer. It's a hot day and the windows are left open and the air conditioning kicks in to bring it back to 22 degrees Celsius. I'm speaking Celsius for those in the US. Your mind works the same way with your self-image. Let's say you have a goal to be 150 pounds and you're currently 200 pounds. That tells you where your thermostat is set. And you might go to the gym, work out, do those things that people tell us to do to get down to 150 pounds. But unless you change the setting, you will just lose the weight that you will just find the weight you lost. Because your mind is like a cybernetic mechanism. It has to bring you back to the setting. And it's not set to the goal. I always thought, well, shouldn't it be set to the goal? No, it's not set to the goal. It's set to where you currently are. Same thing with your income. And so you need to change it. You need to understand how to change the temperature, how to change the setting. Your paradigm is a cybernetic instrument. Your self-image is that thermostat. It's set to the temperature and you won't outperform it. Here's Heather. I see Heather on the line. I love to share and really shout out clients on these calls because the change is just amazing and mind-blowing. Here we've got Heather, who's 6 times her network marketing business. She's reshaped her health. She's taken control of her life. She's moved into a dream condo. She's created her own online program. She went from being a busy entrepreneur with multiple streams of income to owning her life. And she's now coaching other people through this material, and she actually leads a bunch of things in our community. I love seeing our clients grow. And Heather, your image, your growth is incredible to see. And I want to congratulate you and really acknowledge you for being on the call. I can't wait to celebrate your promotion in your network marketing business and be there as you walk across stage. So let's create a winner's self-image. And I'm going to give you some tools to do that now. All right. Get out your pens and papers and remember that you made the decision. Here is what I did. I'm going to share my story. Okay? I'm going to share my story with you in order to do. Okay. What I did. Now, I did this multiple times, and the first few times I didn't know what I was doing. And then I got some help from a coach in the program that I've been talking about. I wrote her. So I had to decide who I wanted to be. I needed to research her. I made a list of people that I admired and the quality that I admired them for. I looked at photos online. I watched other people that had the results I wanted. See, the truth is success leaves clues. Look for people that are getting the results that you want. And make a list of things that they're doing, who they're being, what they have. And you don't want to copy them. Instead, you want to write down the characteristics that they have. And writing is important. Writing creates an image on the screen of your mind. You must write in order to see. See, people think that they need to see here, like see it in their mind and then write what they see, but it's the opposite. So do your own research. Make a list. Find examples. And this could be in your line of work. It could be as a mom. It could be in one of your streams of income. It could be, for me, I researched people that took good photographs because I really wanted to take a great photo. It seems so simple, but I had this image in my mind, and every time I would see the photo, it was like the Pygmalion Effect. It would confirm that I took shit photos. So I researched it. I found people that I loved, the photos they took. I found people in my industry that I admired. And then what I want you to do from that list of characteristics that you acknowledge of what you like, and also the people can be alive or already passed away. They don't need to be people that you see on an everyday basis, that you don't need to know them. That's why I say do your research. And then you create a character profile. I want you to write out this character. And in the beginning, it will seem so far from who you currently are. And that's okay. I want you to write it anyway. And I want you to write it in present tense and in I am statements. I am confident. I take good photographs. I smile. I light up the room. I speak with confidence. I leave others better than when I found them. I attract business partners and clients every single day. These are some of the things that I wrote about. And when you make your list, I want you to create it as yourself, your own character profile. So think back to maybe when you were in high school and you had to write like a play or a book, or maybe you just read a play or a book and you would read the character profile. That's what you're creating. So I actually spoke about in my character profile how Danielle looks, from her weight to her height to her posture to what she was wearing. I spoke about the type of words she used when she talked. I wrote about who was around her, her circle of influence, how she felt about herself and others, who she was being in her relationship with her husband and her daughter. And I thought about these everyday situations, because the truth is that the person you are today is going to do many of the things you're going to do 6 months and a year from now when you have the confidence and are achieving the goals you want to achieve. So it's important that you think about these everyday situations. Like, how will I meet and greet people that I don't know? How do I show up at an event? How do I walk into a restaurant with my husband? How do I answer the phone? All of these ideas I thought of, and I encourage you to do the same. Now, what I want you to catch and be careful of is that you most likely will talk about things you don't want. Like, I don't want to look nervous, or I don't want to stumble over my words, or I don't want to slouch. And if you say those things in your character profile, you will become more of that version of you. Because our mind doesn't know the difference between what you do and don't want. It just hears the words. So instead, create an equal and opposite statement. Instead of, I don't want to slouch, I sit and my posture is straight. Something like that. Does that resonate? So it's very important for you to think of everyday situations. And I got this technique from my husband, who's an actor, because I watch him. He gets a script and he reads his script over and over and over. And then I see him doing everyday tasks like opening the fridge, driving the car. And I notice that it's a different way of being. His presence is different. And I was like, wow, that he's getting into character. And I actually had to ask, and he's getting into character here. And this is what you need to do too. You need to get into your character. The next thing I did after I thought of everyday situations is I made a decision. I made a conscious decision that I was going to become her. I could see her in my mind and all the books I read, that I could see it, I could become it, I could have it. And when I made the decision, a committed decision, I decided I was going to do whatever it took. And then I needed to act it. And I became her day by day. And what I did is I have little Post-it notes that trigger. You want to think about some of those things that might trigger you. So in my bathroom, there were little I am statements. Walking out the door, same thing. I put a little red dot on my wrist. Well, it's actually a bracelet now, but this triggers me. I had it on my watch when I had one. This triggers me to respond the way I want to respond, especially to my daughter, and not react. Put little things that are going to anchor you and trigger you to be the version of you want to be. And day by day, it becomes easier and easier to walk into her or him. Does that resonate with you? Now, this is going to take practice, and it's going to take a commitment, a decision, because it's not easy. Your paradigm, your program, for me, it was 40 years in the making. 40 years of programming, the Pygmalion Effect, getting cemented into my mind about who I was. So it's not easy to change it, and you can do it. We saw Heather do it. We saw Jen do it. I've done it over and over again. You're going to need to do some things that are illogical. Are you committed to doing these things that don't make sense to do? Yeah. Auto-suggestion. What do I mean by that? I want you to repeat 100 times in the morning and 100 times at night 1, 2, or 3 I am statements. I want you to write them out. I want you to record yourself saying them. I want you to listen to it and repeat, repeat, repeat. Now, often I'm asked, like, why do I need a mentor? Why do you coach people if you're telling them what to do here? Well, the truth is that paradigm is really strong. And although I'm telling you exactly what to do today, I know most of you won't do it. See, it's so simple. That's why 97% of the population are getting the results they're getting. Because the paradigm is stronger. It doesn't want you to change. It wants you to stay stuck. Your self-image, who you believe yourself to be, it's easier to stay there than it is to walk into this new version of you. That's the reality. Your paradigm and your subconscious mind was there to keep you safe. And walking out into this new version of you, you're going to need to stand up tall, to speak to people you've never spoken to before, to go into situations you've never gone to before. And it's scary. And it will feel like it's not safe, and your self-image in your subconscious mind is there to keep you safe, and it will stop you. Do you guys see that? And that's why you need help. You need the support. You need a community of people that believe in you. And I'm begging you not to let it go today. Mirror work was something that I implemented that made a massive difference for me. Be willing to become uncomfortable and join me and do mirror work. This is what it is. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. Give yourself some of those I am statements in the mirror. And I close one eye and then the other, and I repeat. And I do this just after brushing my teeth. And I've created a habit, so I do them always together, morning and night. Be honest with the feelings that come up when you do this. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Be honest with yourself. This will tell you exactly how you feel inside. And all of those things, I'm not good enough, it's not true, nasty, nasty things come. And I want you to continue to do it even when it doesn't feel good. Because on the other side, it starts to feel good. It does, I promise you. I promise you. And that's the journey. And that's what I'm asking you to grab my hand and do this with me. Because you cannot do it alone. I didn't do mine alone. Oh, I don't know why it says no title. This is a version. It's a bit fuzzy. This was a transformation that I did in about 3.5 months using my mind. I went to the gym 4 times a week and I ate healthy. I did a clean eating program. But the woman on the left in her mind, didn't take good photos. The woman on the left didn't think she was good enough. The woman on the left sabotaged herself with drinking too much, with not being present. The woman on the left bit her nails constantly. The woman on the left stopped herself from buying new clothes. The woman on the left stopped herself from being present with her husband and her kid, from making connections. The woman on the left kept herself busy so she wouldn't have to interact and engage with people. I committed to writing out who I wanted to become, and you have the power to do it too. The woman on the right talked to herself every day in the mirror. The woman on the right told herself how much she loved herself. The woman on the right said, I am a fitness model. The woman on the right said, I take good photos. The woman on the right said, I am beautiful. The woman on the right said, I am loved. And that's the reality. And it was over and over. Not a day went by when I didn't do this. And I had a coach that confirmed, that used the Pygmalion Effect for my advantage. That helped me see that what I wanted was possible. And I'm asking you to do this for yourself, you guys. You can. I know you can. This was August of 2018 on the left, and that was December of 2018. And I share it because, man, for me, that was the biggest transformation. And it is everything now. And you know, when we become aware and we understand this, we can't go back. You don't lose the confidence. We can't. We don't lose the awareness. You can do it. I have no idea what time it is, but I'm hoping that this is resonating. Please tell me if it is, if you're getting something. I want you to follow the system for success. I want you to follow what I told you to do. I want you to get in touch with me if this resonates. I'm going to share with you, or we'll share in the comments and in the Facebook Live, a link. I want you to have a confidence call with me. I want you to actually take stock of where your self-image is. And I'm going to invite you to get on a call. This is one of my coaches, actually, Monica, who used this information. She was a hairstylist earning $30,000 a year and became a best-selling author in less than 6 months. And I asked her what was the key to success, and she says was her self-image. Now Monica is in sales with multiple streams of income. And I checked, and we're talking 10 times her yearly income is now her monthly income. It's like a few $100,000 a month. We can't do it if we don't outperform, if we don't change our self-image. Before we go, I want to recap what you discovered today. And understand that you discovered this. You and I went through this journey today. You discovered why you have a negative self-image. It's not something you could control. You didn't give it to you. You were programmed this way. And keep in mind, our parents did the best they could. We as parents are doing the best we can with our own paradigm. But now that we understand it, it's our responsibility to change it. So we learned that today. We learned about how that nasty paradigm, why that self-image, that image of ourself wants to keep you stuck, why it sabotages your success, why you don't have a hope and how, whatever that line is, you have no chance of outperforming it. So stop beating yourself up if you're not doing what you know to do, because it has nothing to do with you. It's actually your programming. And then number 3, what you learned today was how to create a winner's image. How to write out who you want to be and take a pen to paper and create your version on the right. You saw my version on the right. I want to see yours. I want you to be sending before and after pictures to me. Is this resonating with you guys? Yeah. You must decide. See, no one could do it for me. I can't do it for you. You can't do it for your kids or your team. And this is what it's going to take. In order for the individual to make a shift, in order for you to break out to that box of freedom where you have confidence, understanding of who you truly are, that you have infinite potential, that you are perfect within, understanding, courage to look yourself in the mirror and do this self-image work, and determination is required. And you're going to need some help. So make a decision right now to begin to live the way you want to live. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. So what can you do now? And this is where we wrap. Write your new self-image. Write your version of the woman or man on the right. Book a confidence coaching session. Shelly, and if you can put the link, my beautiful assistant Shelly will put it in the Facebook group as well as in the group here. And I want you to go and do mirror work tonight. Now I want you to get out your phones and I want you to book that session. Now I also want you to know that there's limited amounts of appointments available. We've got about 15 available at the moment. Take a look. First come, first serve as soon as it's posted. And the reason is because I need you to act now. If this is resonating, you do not want to wait. Let me help you. Let me hold your hand. Here are some strategies that can really help you. You must study. You must find a mentor with proven results. Don't go invest in just anyone. Make sure that your mentor has proven results, meaning they have results in money, like results in their line of work, because there's a lot of things out there at the moment that you can invest in. Affirmations, I am statements. Go into gratitude. Visualize yourself, the new version of you, and become accountable. And that's exactly what we provide in our community. If you go to Instagram, that's my handle, you can find a habit tracker. It will keep you accountable to these daily strategies. You can download it now. Now, I want to thank everyone that's on the call. I want to thank you for coming. You'll find the link for the habit tracker, the link for the call in the section here, I'm losing my train of thought, the comment section, and in Facebook Live. Now I'm going to stay on to take those people through 2 exercises. One is a powerful visualization, and the other one is a Q&A. I want to actually ask some questions and bring some people on that have been through this so you can hear about it for yourself. So we're going to start with the visualization first. I acknowledge that it's 9:15, so I want to say thank you to everyone that came. Make sure that you implement. Make sure that you use that link to book a call. Be one of the first people that books that call, because there's only 15. Then I'm off to Costa Rica, and we don't want you to wait that long. I'm going to take you through a visualization. In order to do the visualization, I'd like each person to put their feet on the ground. And this is powerful. It's going to take us about 5 minutes. And then we're going to have some Q&A. So if you're really committed, you can stay on for the Q&A too. Okay, so feet on the ground. And I'd like everyone to mute your lines, please. If you're on Zoom. And if you could turn off your video. And I'm going to turn off mine too on Zoom. And the reason why we do this is that we want to have everyone here with us. I am going to mute my line in just a few minutes after I start the visualization. And then I will mind the time, so I'll actually bring you back when we're finished. So you won't need to be distracted and look at a clock. Okay, I'm going to mind the time and we will come back in just a few moments. About 5 minutes. Okay, so both feet on the ground. Big breath in and out. And again, in and out. Now what I want you to visualize is see a lavender colored energy above your head. And it's swirling above your head. A lavender light energy. And this energy comes down through the crown of your head, and it's going to come and relax your face, relax your mouth muscles. And as it moves through your body, I'd like you to feel your body. Relax your body. Breathe in and out. And as this energy moves down through your shoulders, you're going to feel your shoulders relax. Relax your arms. Notice your body. This energy moves down through your torso and down through your legs. And as it moves down through your legs, I want you to relax your body. You're becoming very relaxed. The energy moves down through your legs and through your feet. Notice your feet. Feel your toes relax. Notice your body. One more time, I'd like you to relax your entire body. Let go. Take a deep breath in and out. Now I want you to picture on the screen of your mind that it's a year from now. Well, it's the end of 2019. And you've just had an amazing year. And I want you to put yourself in your dream home. And I want you to go to your favorite room in this home. And I'd like you to look around, smell the smells, hear the sounds. Who's in your home? What do you see? What do you notice? Look around your favorite room and it's exactly how you wanted it. Look around at the photos on the wall of your family and friends. Now I want you to take yourself to the closest mirror. And I want you to look inside the mirror. Look at yourself. Look yourself in the eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And I'd like you to acknowledge yourself that you've just had the best year. How does it feel to be working with the most amazing clients and colleagues? You've got the best business and job ever. How does it feel? Acknowledge yourself. Look yourself in the eyes. And notice that your hair is exactly how you want it to be. Your makeup, if you're a female, you look exactly the way you want to look. You're at your perfect body weight. You're wearing the clothes that you love. Acknowledge yourself. You did this. You decided. You became that photo on the right. How does it feel to know that you've done the best job you can? You've in your business, with your family. Acknowledge yourself. Tell yourself that you love you. Now the holidays have just ended, and you've had the most amazing holiday season. It's December. And you're so grateful for all the abundance in your life. Acknowledge yourself. You did this. You committed to who you're becoming. You did this. How does that feel? Your family acknowledges you. They come over and give you a hug as you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and they thank you. How does that feel? How does it feel to be so free? To be so confident? To be so abundant and happy and light? How does that feel? Acknowledge yourself. Take a few minutes now to acknowledge yourself in the mirror and get present to what you've created. 2019, your best year yet. I'll mind the time and bring you back in just a few moments. Okay, welcome back. We can turn on our video. How does that feel? See, the truth is what happened there is that your subconscious mind accepted what you just saw as real. That really happened. Isn't that amazing? The more you do that, the more that you acknowledge yourself, the more you'll attract exactly what you need when you need it. That's the power of visualizing. All right. Well done, everyone. All right. For those of you on the Facebook Live, you're welcome to join us. I'm going to open up the Q&A and actually open up questions. So I'll end the Facebook Live here, and Shelley can include the link to join us. And those that have questions on Zoom, let's hear from you. So thank you for joining us.